This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced.
Well, hello, folks. How are you? I hope you've had a pretty good sort of a Thursday. I know a mutual friend of ours has had a pretty good sort of Thursday. I'm talking about David Guru Graham, of course. Fingers crossed. I've sent him the link. He'll be joining us in this show a little later on. I think he's just wrapping up his show. And there are some technical issues with Dave at the moment and getting, access to phones and computers and all that sort of stuff because of what happened in that raid last week. Of course, they have been no charges outside of the AVO put on Dave Graham, but we'll talk about that a little later on. And he's walked out of the court today with an adjournment that is, considerable. It goes past the election date, so Dave is free to run in the New South Wales election. And with a bit of luck, he'll join us very shortly to talk more about that. Can I just show you a couple of interesting things? I do have another guest sitting here in the background, which I'll bring in shortly, but I do just want to bring your attention to a couple of interesting little things that have popped up in the last day or so. People are interested and reasonably excited to talk about Space Force. Now, you might have seen something on your Facebook feeds recently. Yeah, a Space Force hat that looks like that. And when you play it, it does that, and if you scroll down, it shows you that. Now, I don't want you to get excited about that at all, all right? Don't get excited about that at all, because that is the actual logo, and that is the official emblem that goes on that, the official baseball cap. But that is the official logo of Space Force. So please do not get the goat a little converted. Yes, I guess if you turned that one upside down, it would look more like a fox head than a goat head, I'm going to say, and I can't see any horns coming out of it, but there you go. Somebody's having a bit of fun on the internet at the moment with Space Force and their logo, so don't go and get carried away by that. There are a lot of coins being put out at the moment. Of course, we've talked about digital coins recently, and God, hasn't that raised a lot of interest? Well, the Pope put out a coin. Did you know that? This is the Pope's coin. It's pretty cool. That shot on the left has an arrow on it. Maybe we can blow that up a little more and give you an idea of what that arrow actually looking at. That arrow is looking at a chemtrail. You can see that there is a chemtrail. It's not a scratch on the coin. It's chemtrail. And there is an aircraft overspraying the world. You see that? That came out from the Pope, the Citadel del Vaticano. So there you go. To say that there are strange things happening in the world is a bit of an understatement. What about our Constitution? You know, we've got a whole Attorney General's department that has a Constitution. Their whole job is to look after the Constitution, make sure the government follows the Constitution, give them constitutional advice on law and all associated other things. This is their website. You can go to it and have a look at this yourself. Now, this is 1 or 2 days old since I went and grabbed these screenshots, but you can go to ag.gov.au and have a look at constitutional law. You can see that there are a couple of active parts in the menu system, and then the constitutional law part is inactive. You click on that, it goes nowhere. Then there are 2 active links saying Australian Constitution down here. You click on them. Well, they don't work too well either. They just go to a blank page. Doesn't tell you anything at all, other than that there is an error, and somebody should advise the webmaster that the Australian Constitution is currently unavailable. Try it yourself now. See if it's still unavailable. Probably make it close to a week that it's been unavailable if that's the case. Curiouser and curiouser. The questions just still keep coming, and I'm afraid I am not smart enough to get all the answers myself, so I enlist friends. Here's one I brought to the table earlier. Good evening, John Wilson. How are you, my friend?
G'day, Comrade Carl. Very, very pleased to be here this evening, and hello to all of your lovely audience.
I've got to say, mate, the Attorney General's Department overseeing the Constitution and everything constitutional law-wise for the Australian government does seem to be lacking in certain instances at the moment.
Look, Carl, let me say this, right? Now, I think everyone knows that I'm the former president of Trades Hall in Canberra, okay, probably the second most senior trade union position in Australia. Now, but apart from that, I'm the former National Industrial Officer / Legal Officer for the Commonwealth Public Service Union, right? So all of those bureaucracies, such as the Attorney General's Department, they were all my union members. And I know the Attorney General's Department intimately. Now, I am astounded by this. I am astounded. They have literally a digital army to keep all of this in order. And when you go and check, it's gone. There's no constitution there. It's all out of order, and it has been for some time now. Now, what's going on, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, no one talks to old Commo John nowadays, now that they know that I'm inside the freedom movement kicking a bit of arse. No one wants to come anywhere near me. But I'm aware of the resources and the people power that they put in behind keeping this website, the digitised army that they have, keeping this up to date. And for the Constitution not to be available, right, is just extraordinary. I don't know what's behind it, no idea, but it's extraordinary. It really is something that, what message is sending, I mean, we know in this war there's lots of symbolism. We know that symbolism, but it's not just Masonic. There is symbolism everywhere in this war for humanity. Now, what does this signify? What's the symbol? What's the message? I don't know. I just don't know. But I do know that they've got a lot of people to keep this page in order, and it's the basis, it's the core of the Australia's very existence. And for it to not to be up to speed, available, very strange, like you say.
Well, it's a little like the Governor-General signing the election writ in the witness position rather than in the official signer's position, don't you think?
Look, it's unheard of, Carl. Again, you've got to understand that there's, I mean, I know I hear a lot of people talking about corporate law, maritime law. They talk about also, well, let me talk about administrative law. Inside of the Commonwealth Public Service, right, everything is governed by administrative law. And they've got an organisation called the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, right? They've got their own court system inside, all based on administrative law. Now, administratively, for the Governor-General to have done what he's did, that's not an oversight. That is not an oversight. It's impossible, right? Because the Governor-General has, again, a small army around him to make sure all this is done the right way. So it cannot be a mistake. But what does it truly mean? None of us know. When you go inside the head of the Governor-General nowadays, it's a crime scene. It's a crime scene inside of his head because there's that much criminal stuff going on. So I don't really want to go inside of his head and try and work this out, but it certainly is very bizarre, very bizarre.
The question was asked of me the other day, and I didn't really have a good answer for it. The Governor-General, in the position that he is currently in, seems to be either captive and unable to do his job the way it was intended, or he has complied with the pressure that's been put on him and acquiesced. What do you think is...
The Governor-General, the institution of the Governor-General is a captive operation, Carl. It's a captive operation of overseas forces, right? The institution of the Governor-General has been seized and is a captive operation of overseas forces. Now we can talk about who those forces are, but everyone knows who they are within the freedom movement. we've got huge corporations, the Davos mob, and then we've got the World Economic Forum mob, and then we've got all of these external treaties and sovereignty that emanate from the United Nations, etc. But what has happened is we have overseas forces that own our institutions, and it's not the only institution that has been seized and taken off us. We no longer own it. We no longer own it. And we are being held hostage. All Australians, average Australians, our country is being held hostage by some very evil, satanic forces that are deeply rooted. They have their roots within the World Economic Forum, within Davos and international corporations, BlackRock, Vanguard, those sorts of operations, and the tentacles that stream out of the United Nations, such as the World Health Organization and so on. Okay? So we are being held hostage. I mean, we have a gun pointed at our heads, right? Okay? All of us. We have 25 million Australians, right, with a gang, a cadre, of a crime syndicate, a global crime syndicate that are holding all of us hostage, okay? And we've got to somehow get out of this hostage situation. Somehow we've got to shake these tentacles that are wrapped around our nation and wrapped around our throats. We have to shake it off. And that's going to take a bit of work. Some risks have to be taken. And, it's not easy and it's not risk-free. Some risks have to be taken. And which is why we are now seeing activists inside the freedom movement, at great personal cost, risking long jail sentences, risking, violence and guns being pointed at them and being bashed and all of this stuff. I mean, I myself, at the age in my 60s, despite never having a speeding ticket, a parking ticket, anything in my life, I am now a convicted criminal, right? And right now, I have hanging over my head a 3-month suspended jail sentence, and that is it's still there over a 2-year good behaviour bond, which expires, I think, in September of 2023 this year. So one big toe out of line for me. I am a very high-risk candidate to be immediately arrested, no trial, for breaching the conditions imposed upon me by an illegal, fraudulent court system full of Freemasons, all compromised through pedophilia, a criminal cartel. But I can immediately be arrested and taken off and jailed immediately for 3 months at the drop of a hat. If they so choose to do so, and I have no recourse, none whatsoever. Forget about what's legal and forget about what's illegal. There is no law and order in Australia. There's none. There's no constitutional law and order. We just pointed and just discussed. It's not up. They don't have our constitution. There's no constitutional law. There's no criminal law. The only thing we have in Australia are guns and badges and surveillance, all aimed at us people. None of it pointing at the criminals, the pedophiles, and all these other, crime gangsters. Now, I had an Irish friend of me said, "Listen, John, you are ruled by gangsters in 3-piece suits. That is who's ruling Australia." And he's right. These people look nice. They speak eloquently, but have no fear. They are criminal gangsters who are capable of extreme violence to the point of murder, okay? And that's what ordinary Australians are having held up against them. As I said, we are hostages, and activists like me, and I can't help it. I'm 63 now, and I love this country. Carl, and I've been on the wrong side of history many times in my life, and I own it, but not this time, not this time. This time, I'm in the right, and I'm with my brothers and sisters of Australia, and I'm going to take these risks. I'm going to continue to take these risks. And if I end up having to go to jail or whatever else, then that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Someone has to do it. And ultimately, it will be the alpha males that have to stand up instead of all these pissant beta males that are riddled inside of the freedom movement at the moment.
Yep, I would agree. John, we've seen, I think, a fairly substantial growth in the movement over the last 2 months. You and I have spoken about it. What do you attribute that growth to? Is it anything anybody or all of us collectively are doing? Or is it just simply the fact that the outrageous demands being placed upon the people by government are now starting to wake more people up? No. Look. Everything you've just said is true, Carl. Everything you've just said is true and it's relevant, right? However, the way that I would word it and phrase it is this: is that the false reality that we have been living in, forced to live in, this false reality, right, is corroding. It's corroding and it's evaporating and it's dissolving. And the reason why it's dissolving is that there are now just too many ordinary Australians like you, like me, and like all of your audience out there who are refusing to live in this false reality. I can no longer live in this fantasy land. I can't live in it anymore, okay? And that is a tough gig because every day I try to go about my ordinary business, it is excruciatingly painful for me because I keep bumping up against others, normies out there, and their reality is clashing with my reality. My reality is based on fact, it's based on truth, it's based on real medical evidence, it's based on real history, it's based on, real research. And the normies' reality is based upon fraud and it's based upon deception and lies, etc. And so because there are now too many of us who refuse to live in this false reality, okay, that is corroding and fracturing the reality that the Freemasons and the Vaticans and this crime syndicate and all the rest of them are trying to impose upon us. Okay, there's just too many of us. Now, they're going, full on to characterize us, right? To sovereign citizens. They're using every smear in the book, and they're trying to belittle us. But the problem is this: the problem they have is this, and this is particularly in Queensland, particularly here in Queensland. And believe you me, mate, I love all my freedom fighters all around Australia. But up here in Queensland, we have 100 years up here of being laughed at being belittled, at being called rednecks, idiots, stupid. And Queenslanders we don't care. We just don't care. And the more you do it to us, the more determined we are to rub your face in your own shit. So all of the, the pundits from the corporate legacy dying media, all of their smears, all of their belittlement, all of this stuff is having the opposite effect up here in Queensland than what they believe. They believe somehow that they are going to, force us, embarrass us, right, to comply and live in their false reality. And we're not copying it up here. We're not, and we won't choke it down. And neither will many other large sections of Australia's society. So they're in trouble, mate. And let me say this, I watch closely. I monitor and watch closely all of those minions and toadies and pissant mates, right, who are all in league with the corporate media and these United Nations frauds
and World Economic, all of these pisshead toadies, the Cooker Watchers and all these idiots. And the astounding thing for me is they cannot see the swinging door coming. They are going to be hit so hard that their great-granddaddies are going to have their back teeth rattled when they walk into the swinging door. And the swinging door is going to be when the truthful reality finally breaks through all of these deceptions, right? They're going to walk. They can't see it coming, mate. They cannot. They're sucking on their own exhaust fumes, right?
Yep.
And they can't see what's coming, mate. They cannot see what's coming. They're in a lot of trouble, mate. Hubry and all this shit, that's what they've got. And they're in for a big fall, buddy. And it cannot happen fast enough for old Como John. He wants to see this happen quicker.
Well, I tell you what, you're not the only one that wants to see it happen sooner rather than later. And as you've mentioned, there are a number of freedom fighters out there willing to sacrifice just about everything to assure that we win this fight. One of those guys is David Graham, Guru Graham. God, I'm screwing up your bloody name now. I'm introducing a celebrity. I'm getting nervous.
Two celebrities above me. Hey, look, yeah, straight away, guys. Thanks for everything, dudes. All right, we got this. You two guys up the top there. You know, everyone's a legend in this guy. Everyone. All right, everyone who's partaken in this piece of history here is a friggin' legend, guys. All right, that's behind the screens. As I said, we've just, John and Carl, hi, how are you? Hi to Carl's viewers. We've been away doing some stuff on this election, and we've got the most brilliant team behind us, guys. It is incredible. I haven't met people like this before because I'm a concreter, and these people are usually, you know, sitting up in the friggin' offices somewhere playing with plans and that, you know what I mean, and doing their shit while I'm down there busting my ass doing what they sort of tell me to do. But to actually see how these guys work and what a system they've got, we're actually very, very confident, guys, that we're going in to take this down, John. So I think everything's right on track. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about particular celebrity or so-called celebrities out there that run the airways. We're looking after them in the background, as you guys would probably know. You know what I mean? Their day's coming. All we need to do, people, is stay on track with what we're doing, and that is the likes of John, Carl, Bose, myself, the rest of the team that we've got, Jackie, Frank, all of them. We stay on target and we stay on the election, all right? John does his thing. John does his thing. Carl does his thing. I do my thing. Bosey does his thing. These people do their thing, and we're all going up this hill, guys, right? But very soon we get to the top and pop that cork, okay? Very, very friggin' soon. So, yeah, hi, everyone. There you go. There's a rant from Guru.
So, Dave, a lot of people...
I've been worried about you there, Guru, for a little while. I've got to admit that. And I say that from the bottom of my heart because you know that I've been charged and convicted and here in Queensland on a similar charge. Similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. And we had the Victorian crossbencher, Fiona Patton, right, who loves to dish it out like all of these pissants in corporate media and Parliament. They love to dish it out and use, we all know what they call us and the ridicule that they love heaping on us. But none of these pissants can take it back. So I've been sort of through the process that you've been through, Brother Guru, and I understand the anxiety and all the other shit that goes with it. I was a bit worried about you a little while there, but you pushed through and well bloody done. Well done.
Yeah. No, thanks, guys. It was, look, it's just a matter of, you know, we've been at these guys for a while now, and strategically, you know, the Lord's been guiding me in which way to actually attack these guys, and that's what, you know yourself, John, you know, you found this guy too, mate. Now, you know yourself. You know, this is his war. What we got to do is get out of his road, all right? And when, as I say, when we feel him go forward, we just get on the coattails and we ride the draft, guys. That's what we've been doing all the way through this. And you can see how this whole dark side has just gone into panic mode, you know, and now what we've got them doing is stupid things like we're doing now. You know, a poor freedom fighter who, you know, has been a media guy for like 3 years now, you know, who probably doesn't know too much about the media, but I've been in the real media for 3 years now. And, you know, it's very, very confronting when these guys have got such an opinion, such a rate, you know what I mean? And they just get out there and do anything they want, you know. So I think it's been really advantageous to us. I said to my viewers tonight, at the moment, they're making me out to be the worst guy in the world, okay? The worst guy in the world. But very soon, guys, we're going to get to flip that scenario, and everyone's going to realize what happened, because you don't ring up a particular place to have a chat to someone when you've been told you can, right? And then all of a sudden, you get the counter-terrorism squad, 25 goons, you know, ripping you off for certain charges. So, you know, it looks bad on me at the moment, but that's cool. That's cool. Okay. We'll turn that around, guys. And I think people are seeing straight through it now. I've seen a lot of comments around, like, you know, and down here, the comments are, well, hey, people, this is what happens when you stand up to the government. You know what I mean? So everyone knows what I'm doing. Everyone knows where we are. We've got a lot of people behind us. And guys, I'm just asking you all to put your foot on the throttle with us, get to work with us, all right? And we can start to fix this thing, all right? We really can, guys. Right, we can do it, all right? I know we can. It's just a matter of getting New South Wales together, getting people from the other states to come and help, all right? And we know where we've got a target, right? These guys have got a plan. We've got all the demographics. We know where everyone is. We know where the voters are. The number one thing I know to say to you freedom fighters, and I'm the same. I was the same, okay? I didn't vote. Half of yous aren't enrolled. I don't blame you. Who want to friggin' vote in this corrupt fucking thing? Do us a favour, guys. Go and enroll for this one. Anyone in New South Wales is a freedom fighter. Guru's asking you to put your conscience over there, because I know where you are, guys. Who wants to vote in this corrupt election? You don't want to be part of it. Okay, you put your name on the electoral roll. They got you. They're sending all this shit. Well, guys, we'll fix that when we get in there. At the moment, we need you to register in New South Wales, right? And we need you to get on this friggin' freight train that is coming into New South Wales Parliament, because it's coming.
I've been trying to say to Dave, to people now for, well, basically since you announced, it doesn't come down to whether or not you like Bosie or you like you. The fact of the matter is, even if you do get in, you'll have no power to change anything, but you will have the power to oversee it on behalf of the people. And I don't think we could get two better sets of eyes in there to make sure that whatever the government of the day is doing actually has a people's eye on it, with a view to, is this good for the people, or is this just lining some politicians' pockets and the backyard or back room deals that we are never privy to? I would imagine that you will probably not be privy to either, but at least you'll hear they're happening. Is that a fair sort of view of what's going to come if we get you in?
Look, I'm already looking at, we're going to be 5 steps ahead of you guys all the time, and that's been my problem. Like everyone said, I was flat over the last few days. Well, I've had 25 guys, down here. Not that they belted me up or anything, but I had to confront them, obviously, and then I had to stand my ground. I haven't slept in 3 or 4 days. I got a good sleep last night, up the coast, because that was the first one where I could actually close both eyes. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm back on my game now. Yeah, but Carl, to answer that, look, yeah, we just got to, like, what was your question? Sorry, Carl, I went off somewhere then. What was that? Would you just hit me with a direct question again?
I was just thinking that with you both in there, you're going to give the people the opportunity to see the real that goes down.
Okay, and that's what I was about to say. It's not just me and Rick, guys. All right, we got some really exciting news coming, and I'm not going to break it. All right, because Bosie's the man. All right, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just here for the ride, to do what I can do, and you know I can do a good job. So we've got some really exciting news, guys. This is going to be very simple for you people to vote. Believe me, I'm not going to bust that yet, because I don't know whether I'm allowed to or not, but it was talked at the meeting. But guys, when you hear what's coming, you're going to be very, very excited. So we're not just expecting me and Bosie in there as eyes. We're expecting a few more. Okay, and we've worked out the vote percentage, and we could pull. And look, you're going to say this is we're on a roll. We're 5 weeks out, guys. We've got a lot of marketing to do yet, and I think we're all pretty good at that. Okay, so on this roll that we're going on to, we're looking, let's say 4 million votes, guys. All right, we want to roll this thing home, guys, and it can be done. Right, it can be done. Everyone is sick of everything. people are fed up to hear. Yeah, we got 50% of the population that are going to be MK Ultra and not come where we're going. But they do have the chance of putting in, as Carl come up with, their protest vote. They can't be happy with what's going on. So just give our team a go. Like Jackie George is a killer, mate. Frank the barber. You know, barbers are brilliant, mate. Barbers are the best in the world, mate. You know, they're smart people. You know, and we've got a whole range of other people. I'm giving a bit away there, but we got a fair few other people, all right, that are coming on board here to get this thing done, guys. All right. People have realized that with the power of this number, we have this. With the power of this number, we have this. So we're organising in the background, and guys, I just want to psych you up and get onto it, okay? Because we're going to do this. All right, and we're going to take our state back. And once we start taking our state back by exposing our health minister and our shadow health minister, all right, and stick the 22% mortality rate up under their freaking nose. You know what I mean? Because it's not good enough, and you guys are the health ministers. It's not just not good enough, it's freaking diabolical. So this is where we're going. We're going to put pressure. We're going to, you know, look, they know what's coming. I don't know, you know, if they don't know what's coming, they're stupid. Because I
was up at the Sunshine Coast 2 nights ago, okay? I went up there as I do a lot of work on social media, a lot of work online, and I do interviews, but I also do a lot of on-the-ground organising. Now, I went up to the Sunshine Coast and I met with a dozen people up there. Now, one of the people I met with, right, is the mother of one of the Rebels news reporters. You understand? Her daughter is one of the Rebel news girls. Carl knows who I'm talking about. Now, I just want to give you an understanding, mate, of what's happening up here. Now, we have people up in Queensland, Sunshine Coast, who are now just hired a big mobile home, right? One of those, mobile sleeping homes, right? One of them little buses, right? And they're all piling in, heading down to Armidale, right? And this is at the direction of Joe, right? All going to Armidale to hit the ground Armidale to go and campaign. Now, this is what's going on up here, mate. Now, none of these people have anything to do with A1, and they never will have anything to do with A1, but do they hate the government, mate? Do they hate them? And they're willing to travel right across the state of New South Wales and put the leather into the bloody on the ground to get the A1 team going. And I'm going to try, if I can possibly do it, I've got some other issues that I've got to deal with, but I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with them, right? So, mate, the Queensland Battalion, right now, the Queensland Battalion, right, the Kookaburras, we are on our way. We're on our way, okay?
That's right. There's a great opportunity, Dave. A lot of people have approached me and have said, we want to be able to come and help. We want to, I vote for you, but they can't, obviously, because they live in Queensland. What they're saying, what can we do? Well, I said, well, Tweed Heads is only at the border. You can go down and door knock. You can pass flyers around. You can do whatever. You can go to Byron for the weekend, and while you're there, drop something into every letterbox as you walk down to the beach. I'm sure the people at Bodygoes will love to hear from you. There is plenty of support coming from Queensland, and as John said, they are willing to travel all over New South Wales to help promote you guys, understanding, of course, that it's difficult for you all to get out and about and see everybody. But it's important that people understand that A, you are running, and B, if the folks in New South Wales are not happy with the current government, and to avoid a fine will draw a dick on their ballot rather than tick a box, well, this is their opportunity to really make their protest vote count and get behind you and Ricardo. And I think, we'll be able to get you a few more votes that way, because clearly people aren't happy with the current government. There seems to be news stories coming out every day in New South Wales and federally as well, People are very, very disheartened. Of course, not many of them have a great deal of respect, or respect is probably the wrong word, but none of them have too much faith in the system, particularly the counting system. So, Dave, is your advice for people who are going to vote for you to vote on the day, or are you pushing pre-polling?
No, we're not pushing any pre-polling because they'll just throw it out and we can't trust their electronics. So we want to vote on the day, guys. And that way we'll have the people on the ground as well, you know. So, you know, from 12 through to the afternoon, I think we'll have masses of people there. Yeah, it is getting coordinated very well. Big shout out to Jo up there in the Tamworth area. She's just an absolute godsend to me, you know, like that's what I mean. The people don't understand who's behind the scenes doing all this, guys. I'm just your mouthpiece, you know what I mean? Yeah. But there's an incredible amount of people out there in the background that are doing this. Like, and as I said, it doesn't matter whether you're A1. You know, I'm not A1. I'm just, you know, someone who's Bosey's mate, and we see that we can make a change for the country. And you know, over the last 12 months between our relationship, we've been watching the environment, watching what's happening, and watching what we could do. You know what I mean? And the environments gave us this chance to actually jump in and have a crack, guys. So that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, there's more than me and Bose going in there, right? So me and Bosey go in, we get 2 lots of funding, 2 offices, you know, 2 sorts of research teams, etc. Okay. If 6 people go in, or 6, there we go, sorry, 6. Well, we're having a go at me on Cooker Watch. 6 people go in. Well, then we got 6 offices, 6 lots of staff, 6 lots of research. You know what I mean? Hey, what if we flipped it and, you know, took a heap of people in there and we had all these offices and this and that and this and the other? You know, then we're building a team that can work, guys. All right. So to give a bit away, that's the process we're working on. All right. The more people we can put in there with us, okay, we just need the research teams in there to be able to do what we need to do. Okay. And if we haven't got them, we'll do it ourselves, because like Stanley Myers with the water car. Okay. God told him what to do. He done it and he produced. Okay. And it worked. So they killed him for it. You know what I mean? Well, it's the same thing here. You know, as Gandhi said, first they ignore you. We've all been ignored, guys. I put it on the show the other night. All right. All of us have been ignored. Then what do? They ignore you. Then they mock you. Okay. They mock the shit out of us. They've had to go left, right, and center. Good old Johnny up here's turned it over, took the cooker back. Then what do? They fight you. They're fighting me now. They're fighting you guys because they're fighting me. Okay? Yep. They're fighting you. All right? They're not just fighting me, guys. They're scared of you because you're behind me and Bose and these guys here. And then what happens after that when they fight you? We win.
We win.
That's it. That's simple, guys. Well, they're fighting us now. So guess what? Very close to we win.
John,
David, let me tell you this. I've fought the New South Wales deep state previously, mate, and I'm not talking the parliamentary pissants, right, who are nobodies, right? I'm telling you. And I'm talking the deep state, right, the SES and the deep state, right? Now, what people have got to understand, mate, is they've got the guts of a tame cane toad. They are as weak as piss. They are as weak as piss. They like to project how powerful they are. They like to project how invincible they are, that you can't get at them, right? But when you really challenge them, like what Guru was doing right now, mate, these bastards go to water. They go to water. I'm telling you, they are not that tough.
Yeah.
So all we have to do, mate, is muscle up to them. Let's do it. Let's get these A1 people over the line, everybody. Let's do it.
Yeah. Now, Rob asked my local politicians in this area here to come on, you know, and even though, but, you know, one of them's in a federal position, well, I don't really care. I'm just asking as a politician to come on my live stream and let's have a chat about where we are today in the world, you know. That's what I'd like to talk about, because anything you want to come up with you've got in the future for us, I know is no good for us. So I put it to them and I've asked them and I've got emails back saying, no, sorry, we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can't come on a show that's like, you know, like no moderator or, you know, like, yeah, got to know the questions before we come on. And then the other politician I got back, oh, yeah, we'll give you an interview in due course. And I go, hey, hang on, guys, I'm not stupid. I know what due course means. you know, when you feel fit. Well, no, I'm saying in the next week or so. Oh, yeah, due course, Mr. Graham. We'll give you an interview in due course. This is what these people are. These are the people that are running your community out there, Wollongong. They can't even come on and have a chat to a concreter about the state of our city. It's just incredible. You know what I mean? It's just absolutely incredible how these people, yeah, like you say, John, they spruik up in Parliament and talk this and they're doing this, doing that. You ask them to come and have a talk out in public and they go to shit.
All right, mate, once you shirt front them, and Jesus, I've shirt fronted a few of them in my day, mate. Yeah. They got the guts of a frog, mate. They got the guts of a frog. I'm telling you, well, weakest piss, there's weakest piss. Muscle up. Let's get behind these crew, mate. Let's get them in. They're shit, mate. They were shit.
Yeah. Well, you clearly would ask too many questions, Dave, that they would find far too difficult or incriminating to answer. And, yeah, they're never going to stump up. They've got nothing. See, they've got nothing to win out of being seen with you and everything to lose. That's exactly, you know, the way that they're going to be viewing it. So
yeah, they've painted the picture to the public the opposite way, that people would have everything to lose looking at me and everything to win looking at them. You know, it's funny how they do it, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, inverting things is what they do, and they do it so well.
Well, we're about to invert it on the head.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a rabbit pulled out of a hat. It probably has come out of a number of holes. And most of us have been down those holes and had a good look at the rabbit at some stage. So, yeah, we are looking forward to it. All right, mate, look, I know you're busy, so I will let you go.
Yeah, we're actually running on phone Wi-Fi tonight because stupid me left the Wi-Fi up the coast somewhere. And then we bought another one and obviously going, oh, yeah, it'll light up within 4 hours or something, you know, and then we're ringing them an hour before the show. So now we've got mobile phones going, everything. We're on data, actually, to get out of here. So, anyway, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for all your great work. And, yeah, guys, just get behind us. I know these two legends are. We just need the rest of Australia. And I know you're doing it, guys. Thanks to everyone coming from interstate. All right. We love you. And, guys, we fix this, all right? And then the consensus is going to be, let's fix the country. It's as simple as that. Once we show you what we can do in New South Wales, you're going to want your whole country fixed, all right? And we'll have everyone with it. So, yeah, to all you real cookers out there, that's cooking with A. Love you guys.
Yes, mate. Well, Cook and Watch has been in the chat tonight, so I'm sure they'll
be able to. Good luck. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, bud.
Jesus, you can't stop these fucking Wollongong concreters, mate. You can't stop them.
No, you cannot. John, I'll let you go too. I know you've had a big day today, and you might be very eager to get into some of that shopping that you got today and looking for a fee.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. Thank you. Look, thank you for the invite, mate, and it's a pleasure. And look, mate, we live in exciting times, mate. Exciting times. Let's pull this off, everybody. Let's pull it off, mate. It's ours. Absolutely. It's ours. Let's do it. Thank you for the invitation, Carl.
Just on a technical note, I'm going to give you a new microphone when I give you your hat back as well.
Mate,
the one
I'll tell you.
Doesn't sound real flash. So I'll
like a proper shop bought one.
Like a proper shop bought one, yeah. Well,
as my original friend used to say.
Good on you, mate. I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's John Wilson, marvellous man, and in desperate need of a new microphone. And maybe we'll need to tweak his speakers a little bit because that was a little bit of feedback that was coming back through there. Thank you to everybody who has been in tonight. There have been a couple of questions. One person in particular mentioned some artwork that has gone up in Sydney. Of course, it's Gay Pride Week in Sydney at the moment. And in Sydney at the moment, outside of Wynyard Station, there is this magnificent picture that has been put up of a fat man in a, well, kind of outfit wearing a bear's head. So I don't know if he's a tubby or a teddy or a fugly, but whatever he is, it seems that not a lot of people were very interested in it because the end result was that. And that sign that says... what it says there. Let me try and just suck that up and zoom it in a little bit so that we can read it properly. It says, "Leave the kids alone." So it's gone from that to that with a very big sign telling people leave the kids alone. Interestingly enough, this happened last year around Mardi Gras time in Sydney. And it turns out that the people doing this sort of cleanup, for the want of a better term, cleanup, were mainly of the Islamic faith. They were offended beyond belief about it. Of course, apparently beliefs are only, well, something to be offended about if those beliefs happen to be the same beliefs that somebody in power or government has, or at least wants you to think they have. But yeah, nice to see that artwork that may not be terribly representative of all the people is treated the way that it is. Yeah, I don't know if that thing was actually painted up. That sort of looks more to me like something that was printed up and put up there. So they'll probably have a new one up there tomorrow. But I have no doubt there is a lot of paint in Sydney, and it costs a lot to print those things out. Every time they've got to print them out again, the insurance is going to go up higher and higher and higher. At any rate, that's what seems to be going down in Sydney at the moment. It's a pretty interesting town at this time of year, and lots of people coming in from all over the world. Sunflower, God bless you. Thank you very much for your sticker tonight. And to all of you who have bothered to come in and join us tonight, including all the trolls. Love to see the trolls. I see Inner666 has poked her little tongue out in here again tonight. And yeah, I saw Cooker in too, Cooker Watch, having a great chat. Do you notice, folks, how they like trying to bait you and us? They ask questions. You'll see that Cooker tried to lead a question at Guru about Ben. Now she knows what she's doing. Cheeky girl. And she seems to think that we're stupid enough to play that game. Silly girl. Anyway, the game continues, and it will continue tomorrow night. I keep telling you, folks, and I don't know if everybody's truly understanding it yet, but not all the dickheads are on the road.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!